Denkou Choujin Gridman, otherwise known as Hyper Agent Gridman, is a 1993 action Tokusatsu television series developed by Tsuburaya Productions, the same company behind Ultraman. This time, the computer world is in danger, and the only forces able to fight against the evil Khan Digifer are Yuka, Ippei, and Naoto, who becomes Gridman. While overall a solid show, there were a few things I wish were changed. Let's start with the positives. The first one I noticed, and one of my favorites, is how logical the show is overall. Unlike Ultraman, the energy system makes more sense. Gridman can only be out for so long because the PC that the kids are running him on is low quality and handmade, so the computing power required to keep him active is more than it can handle, limiting him. It makes more sense than the less explained energy system in Ultraman. Any upgrades are called assist weapons, and they're pretty logical too. They're designed by Ippei and coded into the computer world by Yuka, all for Naoto to use. Lastly, when accessing infected devices, he travels through communication lines, which everything is connected through. It makes sense and works. It's a pretty simple one, but I really appreciated that. Another point I'd like to bring up is the suit designs and the set designs and the CGI. The suits all look really good, especially all of Gridman's combinations. The monsters have unique designs, and while some are stronger than others, they're all identifiable and interesting. The CGI isn't anything insane, but for the 90s it looks pretty damn good, and honestly, I found it to look better than Ultraman Tiga's, despite Tiga coming out a few years later. The main trio is really great. They're written well as friends, and they all play important roles in the story. Their developments, while not very apparent, are there and add to the story. Their families also add to the story. Most of their families are well fleshed out, making them important side characters who are also targeted by the issues created by Khan Digifer and his accomplice. Speaking of which, Takeshi, his accomplice, is one of the best characters in the show. He shows symptoms of being on the spectrum, not understanding societal norms, not being able to properly interact with others, having a strong dislike for loud sounds, among other things. People just generally dislike him for no reason, and his parents seem to be neglectful of him. All this together leaves him alone and depressed, so when Khan Digifer initially approaches him and provides him with a chance to take revenge on the world that spited him so much, he jumps on that opportunity. Over time, working with Khan Digifer so much, he begins to see him as a friend, somebody who cares about him. He knows that Khan Digifer is evil, and what he is doing is wrong, but still chooses to stay by him because he has nobody else. He's being manipulated by Khan Digifer. He has nobody else, and so much trauma, and most of it is done really well, but at the same time he still cares for humanity and questions Khan Digifer's ideology. Not everything about his character is fine and dandy though, and I'll delve a little further into it later. Lastly, I want to talk more about assist weapons. Having a designer, an implementer, and a user creates a fantastic dynamic and allows for all three kids to have a role on the team. The first assist weapon created is the Barrier Shield, which is an important and useful weapon, a shield and a sword. Later, Ippei creates the Thunderjet, Twin Driller, and God Tank, which can combine to become God Zenon, his first masterpiece. Later on, Gridman combines with God Zenon to become Thunder Gridman, the first upgrade form. And it looks sick, believe me. Ippei creates the Draconic Cannon, making it fly and calling it the Dyna Fighter, then fuses it with another assist weapon, the King Jet, which makes the Dyna Dragon when deployed like a kaiju, or the Dragon Fortress when in jet mode. After some time, Dyna Dragon can combine with Gridman to become King Gridman, his final form, and it is fantastic. Oh my god, I loved it so much, that two-parter was great. What I like most about these assist weapons is that while some are directly more powerful than others, they all have special uses still. For example, it's not worth using the individual vehicles, so the team tends to use Gold Zenon or Dyna Dragon, not any of their individual pieces, but they don't always combine with Gridman for a couple reasons. One is numbers. Sometimes in a fight, they should have a 2-on-1 rather than a 1-on-1 with a significantly stronger hero. Other times they need certain capabilities of one form. They use them strategically, which I like. Unfortunately, that's most of my positives for the show. Now for some, or rather a bunch, of my negatives. The most important, apparent, and recurring one is the fanservice. Yuka, the female main character, is often sexualized or objectified, and it's frankly really sad. She's just as useful to the main team as anybody else. Her intelligence and kindness bring so much to the team. Even Gridman himself recognized it in the end. Even still, both her best friends, strangers, and Takeshi all sexualize her, ruining what she could be, a powerful female character. I do not care if this is a show meant for young or teenage boys, it is still not okay. Secondly, the trio is actually kind of stupid. I know before I said, oh, they're logical, but they don't think about the situation at all. They just react to it. These kaiju attacks only occur in their city. Kandejifer never shows himself, the trio only hears about him through Gridman, yet they never question if it might be not Kandejifer or if he has an accomplice. Considering Gridman can't work without Naoto, Kandejifer probably is in a similar vein. Similarly, they just trust Gridman blindly. For all they knew, he could have been Kandejifer and lying to them, making some story up. And lastly, Ippei and Yuka are always okay sending Naoto away to deal with issues when he is the only one who can fight the kaiju. Shouldn't they keep him readily available in the event Gridman is needed? And situations like this have happened before in the show. Naoto isn't available for a while and the situation worsens. They do not think at all. This next point isn't really detrimental to the show, though it would have been nice to have, but including a scene where Naoto reveals his identity as Gridman would have been nice. It would clear up a lot of things with him and his parents, maybe then they'd give him a little more respect, but that's more of an in-universe problem. Anyways, back to Takeshi, there were a few things that lost me. One is Kandejifer seemed to have control over Takeshi's judgment. When he resisted, Kandejifer made him comply. That happened like once though, and it's kinda confusing. And also, for somebody who considered Kandejifer a friend, he didn't really treat him as such. I mean, maybe Takeshi just doesn't really know what it means to have a friend, and he was just doing what he thought friends did. But, if anything, it seemed like he was being more controlled. I mean, obviously he was, but I don't know, it just felt weird and unnatural. Last thing, in the end, they forgave him really easily. Though I am glad they did it, it felt a little fast. I wish he joined their side a little sooner, just so that it had more time to, cool down, forgive him, realize that he wasn't actually a bad person and he was just being manipulated by this enemy because he had no friends and his life is just full of trauma. The last crap I have is about the story development, or lack thereof. Things are really simple. Like, really simple. Characters don't grow much. We don't get much more backstory into them, they aren't that fleshed out as characters, and there isn't much to think about. It's a fairly mindless show. Take the first episode of Kamen Rider Gabu. They set up so many plot points. The Odd Doors, Shoma's mother, Stomach Company, Hanto, the Yamigashi, and more. And they all played out. Not well, in my opinion, but they played out. In Gridman, there's nothing. There are so many things they could have set up. For example, put more of a mystery on the trio, having them try to figure out who Kandejifer is working with, or who he is in the first place, making certain side characters more important, like the paraplegic hacker, overall developing the characters more, like why did Yuka start falling for Naoto when nothing changed? If she liked him at the end, why didn't she at the start? Naoto could have been more selfish or cowardly, but developed into a better person by the end thanks to Gridman. Yuka could have gotten a spotlight shown on her at the end, proving that she's more than eye candy to her friends and the viewers. Ippei could have started dreaming bigger, facing more challenges with his art besides, what color should the wings of the Dino Fighter be? It's frustrating. I'm yet to watch SSSS Gridman, SSSS Dynazenon, and Gridman Universe, but after I do, I'll be sure to write a review on them. I'm itching for more Gridman content. Well, I hope you enjoyed my rant, and as much as I love this show, there are so many ways that this story could have been better. But look, it's a 90s children's television program. What did I expect? Mystery like Doyle's writing? Existential crises? An episode about taxes?